Hello and welcome to this weekend's episode of TeeTime. I'm Chaiti, Narula, joining you from Unitech in Noida. Today on the show, we will be getting an all-encompassing view on the future of the IT sector for the year 2014 and FY15 going forward.
On the show this week, we have Faisal Husain, CEO of Synechron.
Technology is driving our lives today. It's driving businesses. Businesses are using technology as a competitive advantage. So people who recognize that can go ahead of the competition.
In news, Brendan Todd wins the Brian Nelson Championship, his first PGA Tour title. And Miguel Jimenez wins the Spanish Open to become the European Tour's first winner over the age of 50.
Beautiful tea of Faisal.
Thank you, Chaiti. Thank you very much.
Welcome to TeeTime.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's the heat setting in, but does not impact our game of golf. Let's hit the brass tacks now with the IT sector.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the products ecosystem in the IT sector.
Sure.
With the rapidly evolving pace of the IT sector, how much of a support are you getting from incubators and angel investors and the like in this sector?
I think for us as a company, we have been in existence for 13 years. We are a little bit of a different story in that we did not take any VC or angels or incubators.
Right.
That was 13 years ago. But today, the scene is very different. I think there are many people willing to back you,
Right.
either as angels or as VCs.
Right.
There are many success stories that have happened in India. So I think the timing is right for any entrepreneur who has a viable business plan to branch out, take the plunge into entrepreneurship and reach out to these angels and VCs. I think there's an abundance of capital and they're looking for good stories to back. Incubators, perhaps, I'm not sure there is as much as we have in the West,
Right.
but that's a matter of time. I don't
Right.
think that's an impediment to growth.
Well, we spoke about incubators, we spoke about angel investors and their interest in the IT sector. Now let's talk about the software product firms a little bit. Last year we saw about 500 software product firms established in India. How much more potential do you see further going forward in that area?
I think if you see the services sector in India has been a great success story. We are part of that.
Right.
Product firms is something that I see only happening at this stage. It's still early stages for product firms. I think we have not done as much as could have been done for products to make successful products out of India. But I think that's also where the opportunity is. I think there's a great opportunity for software firms to build the products here, sell to the Indian market as well as the other emerging markets in the world. So I think it's early days, but it's big potential.
All right, on that note, I'll tee off and we continue chatting.
All yours. Excellent shot, Chaiti.
Thank you. So let's talk about, okay, now you're a developer yourself.
Yes.
You've studied aeronautical engineering. You're more of a developer than you're a businessman, if I'm right. What kind of further potential do you see in India? And today, does India have the right kind of expertise as far as technology services are concerned?
You're right. My background is that of a software engineer. I am not an MBA. I have not taken any business courses,
Right.
formal business courses as such. I call it learning on the job.
Sure.
And I don't come from a business family. So it's a bit of an unusual story.
Right.
I think where the IT industry is today, it's really at a very significant junction.
Sure.
There's a lot of transition happening, and there are a lot of forces that are causing this transition. First of all, you see that clients no longer want to use the IT outsourcing or consulting space for cost arbitrage. They're looking more for solution services and not outsourcing services. That's one force that is acting on the industry. The second is the emergence of all these new technologies, the SMAC, the so-called SMAC technologies, social, mobile, analytics and cloud. That's another force that is happening on the industry, and there's a lot of evolution, very fast evolution that is happening towards adopting those technologies. And the third is specifically within financial services, which is our largest segment. You see an avalanche of regulatory and compliance that is being forced down on these financial institutions as a result of the crisis that happened a few years ago. So because of all these forces, the industry has to evolve very quickly, and that's what Synechron as a company is doing to stay ahead of the others.
Okay, so let's talk about the IT sector a little bit. It was a couple of years ago that Indian IT sector was recognized as a sunrise sector, and today if you go to see a couple of industry reports, including NASSCOM, they have predicted that the VC investment is 65% in the IT sector vis-a-vis the other sectors. How long before this interest really fades out to another sunrise sector?
I think there is still time. IT is and always will be a very strategic sector. If you see around us, technology is driving our lives today. It's driving businesses. Businesses are using technology as a competitive advantage. So people who recognize that can go ahead of the competition. So I think there is plenty of opportunity to still innovate and create new technology models for our clients. I think the industry is moving away from outsourcing more to a solutions, more to a consulting focused industry. There's emergence of new technologies like SMAC, and I think those are driving a lot of the VC investments that are happening in the industry. I think specific to SMAC and the opportunity there, that should be there for at least the next 5 years. I don't think that's going away.
And what is the kind of talent do you have in India at the moment? You see that India lacks a conspicuous talent pool because obviously you have based yourself out of Dubai and New York per se, not really out of India. What do you have to say about the talent pool?
I think India still is the #1 destination for technology talent, absolutely. I think my personal base of New York and Dubai is more for being more front-ending, more being closer to clients and being in a place where I can travel.
But the back-end still remains
The back-end still remains in India. We have evaluated other geographies. We have taken a very objective view, whether it is Eastern Europe or the Far East Asia or South America, and we just don't see any other place that has the depth and the scale and the width of the Indian market.
All right, we have a lot to discuss about Synechron. We have a lot to discuss about how Synechron really came into existence as well 11 years ago, and a lot more in the IT sector as far as the outlook is concerned. Take a break right here. We will see you on the other side for this and more. Thank you for staying with us on Tea Time. It's raining cloud on this segment. Let's discuss cloud technologies right now. Cloud is obviously expanding its customer base, and also a lot of the demand that we are seeing for hosted applications on cloud as well. What is the clear fundamental paradigm shift that you see in the IT sector with cloud being the way it is today?
It's almost a revolution that is happening in the way applications and technology is deployed and managed. You see, the underlying concept of cloud is all about utility computing, not really being worried and concerned about the low-level hardware that is used to run the applications. However, there are some challenges. Cloud is a fantastic solution for small to medium-sized businesses, but when it comes to big corporations, especially financial services, I think they have to approach cloud in a slightly different way because of the security concerns that are very obvious in their business. And for that, you have this trend towards private cloud that is happening. But the underlying concept of utility computing is here to stay, and it's a very, very big trend that is happening and a big driver for our business.
Faisal, now the primary verticals for product landscaping lie in technology and BFSI to a very large extent. Where do the other sectors place in a scenario like that? And would it be safe to assume that security solutions for home and enterprises is the other upcoming segment as far as IT is concerned?
I think if you divide the industry into a B2B versus B2C,
right,
then definitely there are a lot of changes that are happening in the B2C, more consumer facing, which is security solutions, home automation solutions, and everything being available on your mobile.
Right.
I think we're witnessing only the beginnings of a revolution that is happening. So there's a lot of things that will go into the mobile space, which will consolidate it. Basically, your life in the mobile.
Right.
You can control your home, you can do your shopping, you can operate your bank accounts, you can transfer money. So multiple services will consolidate into the mobile. There's a lot of revolution that's happening there. On the B2B side, which is where Synechron as a company operates, I think the trends of big data and cloud and these emerging technologies will play a crucial part in the next 5 years.
Faisal, now let's talk about a few estimates really. According to most industry estimates, exports in the IT sector are expected to cross $85 billion, and the growth rate which has been projected for the year 2014 and FY15 has been anywhere flirting between 12 and 15% thereabouts. Is this a fair estimate? Is that in line with your estimate, or is this somewhere an overestimate?
No, I think it is a fair estimate. I think NASSCOM's estimates are fairly accurate.
Right.
Of course, if you follow the industry, you'll see that different companies are on different places of that estimate. Some are at par and some are below par. I think
right.
there's a lot happening in the top 5 companies in the industry. But I think on an average, yes, we should be able to achieve that 12 to 14%. I think, in fact, for companies like us who are specialized companies, I think the potential is even much larger. I think
right.
we have a potential of growing 15 to 25%, which is what we are endeavoring towards.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Well, so the industry clearly sees a lot of potential going forward. We're going to touch upon Synechron and the beginnings after Faisal quit Merrill Lynch and started this company on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to Tea Time, and now on this segment, let's focus on how Synechron really came into being. Humble beginnings for you in the year 2001 after quitting a prestigious job at Merrill Lynch. You found yourself in a startup scenario like this one. What were the beginnings really like?
Those very exciting days. Those were in 2001. It was myself and 2 friends who joined together and started the firm.
Right.
And the reason we started it was because we saw a big gap in the industry. We felt that the industry had to move away just from a cost arbitrage, a labor arbitrage concept. It needed to go into a more solutions-based concept, more into a consulting-based concept. And that was the vision we started with. Of course, in the early days, in 2001, that is when the dot-com bubble was bursting, and 9/11 happened in 2001. So it was very challenging times, but looking back, it was the best time to start a company because we learned to have a great amount of discipline in what we did, which continues till today. It's been 13 years. We are now 5,000 people globally, over 200 million in revenue. And all of this we have done by ourselves. We did not seek any funding at that time, no private equity, no VC. The entire company has been built on its own profits and cash flows.
Which brings me to something which is quite intriguing, is that you haven't had any plans of listing as such or coming up with an IPO at the moment, because you're big enough to come up with one.
Yeah, absolutely. Companies in our industry start to go IPO either in India or in the
Right.
US the moment they cross 100 million in revenue.
Right.
We are well above 200, and we don't have any plans to go public because we're not catering to investors. We're not catering to shareholders. We internally are the biggest shareholders. And for us, the more important thing is to develop our capabilities to provide more value to our clients, develop our company to provide more opportunities to our employees. An IPO will eventually happen. It's in the future, but it's not something that we it's not a primary goal of ours. The primary goal is really to build the company further and further.
But I guess it will be a natural shift for you.
It will be a natural at some point.
Go the listing way as well. Now, Synechron is definitely known to be defining the outsourcing paradigm quite a bit as well. Take me through a little bit of that.
Absolutely. Like I mentioned, we started the company with a concept that we have to be more solutions oriented. We have to be more specialist firm.
Right.
We can't be all things to all people, which is what we saw our competitors doing. So our concept has been from day one of being very specialized in certain industries and to have an offering that integrated business consulting, technology consulting and outsourcing in one integrated model.
Sure.
The companies we saw at that time were either just outsourcing or either just consulting, and our clients were telling us they needed an integrated model for that. We also chose to specialize within financial services because financial services is prone to a lot of change and a lot of innovation, and we felt an opportunity would be there, which has worked out. I think the last 13 years have played exactly along those thoughts.
Why did you quit Merrill Lynch? You had such a lovely job there.
I think that's it was very cushy and very comfortable job, very, very well paying at that time. But I'm a man driven by passion, and so are my two friends who joined me in this journey. So we didn't actually think twice. It was tremendous excitement to venture out and do something. And we said that we don't want to be at an old age in the future and look back and say that we should have done that. So we made a decision to take the plunge, leave our cushy jobs, be entrepreneurs, and see how far we go. And the worst thing that could happen was we failed in our venture and we would come back and get comfortable jobs again. Luckily, that did not happen.
So
the venture
plan B
took
was
off.
always in place. You knew that you could always fall back
What's
on
the
a
worst
job.
that could
Everybody
happen?
can. Having said that, what do you have to say about people actualizing their life's callings? Because you are somebody who has keenly done that. There are many people who are still stuck in lovely jobs.
Yes.
They have all the comforts in the world and do have the potential to start up as well. But there's always a risk appetite which everybody does not tend to possess.
Well, first of all, I would say to each man his own, or to each woman her own way. It's what works for me is not the necessary way that would work for others. But I do believe that if it is something that you think about, then you should do it. You should have enough risk appetite to take the plunge.
Right.
I see many people who are tremendously brilliant, much smarter than I ever will be, but they don't have the risk appetite to take the plunge and do something entrepreneurial. And I think that's the difference between people who continue and do very well in corporate jobs, there's nothing wrong in that, versus people like us who leave and start new ventures and succeed or fail, it doesn't matter. I think in the end, Chaiti, what I believe in is that you should be happy. Whatever direction you choose, you should be content, you should be happy, and you should do it with passion. As long as you're doing that, you're good.
And the money just keeps coming.
The money follows. Yeah, the money follows.
Let's complete our game and we talk more. Come.
Sure.
Faisal, so what do you really live your life by? What are the principles you live your life by?
I think passion has to be the first. And whatever I do and whatever I think when people ask me this question is you should do for passion.
Right.
I don't think one should live their life for material things, for money or for wealth. I think find something that you want to do, get better at it, and if you do that, the money will follow. So I think having passion in everything you do is key. Having high integrity is also very fundamental to me. I like to say during business dealings or any deal that I do is that my handshake is worth much more than any papers that you can make me sign. So keeping to my word, honesty and high integrity are very big factors in my personal life. being good to people, I think, I believe in karma. I think if you are good to people, other people will be good to you. I think it all comes around.
Yeah.
So those are some of the simple values that I live by.
Interesting. So let's talk about you living in New York and in Dubai. New York, I know, doesn't have golf courses at all, but do you go on the outskirts to play, or are you playing in Dubai most often? Where do you really play golf?
Yes, I play in the US. The US has beautiful golf courses.
But not, of course.
New Jersey has, and I travel a lot.
Okay.
I travel a lot. These days, we partner and join our clients in sponsoring charity events, which oftentimes are golf tournaments. So there's a lot of opportunity to be a part of that. Dubai has some fantastic golf courses, so there's a lot of opportunity to play. But it is something that perhaps I want to do more than I am right now. Time is always the challenge.
Right. And which are the golfers that you really keenly observe and follow?
My favorite is Bubba Watson. He's very unconventional, and that appeals to us. We like to be unconventional.
Played a lovely Masters.
Yes.
Masters.
2 times in 3 years.
Yes.
Just a fantastic and inspirational story,
Yeah.
I must say.
All right. So on that note, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Faisal, for joining me on
Pleasure.
Tea Time. Lovely to have you on the show, and thank you once again for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on this episode of Tea Time. I will see you next week again with another interesting guest from an entirely different sector, of course. Until then, as cliched as I may always sound, enjoy the flight of a good drive. Have a good weekend. See you next week.